Hello there, Outliers. Niiamah Shang here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey. We're here with another Outliers Edge live roundtable with none other than Maria Nemeth. Maria, we got a chance to talk before we came out and hit live here, but I wanted to say I am so incredibly, I think enthused is the right word I want to use for our conversation. I was gonna say excited, but like the energy it feels
Mhm,
more grounded than just
mhm,
like a high level excitement.
mhm.
Like I'm genuinely looking forward to this conversation. I know that you've done a tremendous amount of work in your career, and just like I just get you as a sense of someone who is both giving but also established in such a complete way that I'm just thrilled that Outliers get a chance to be in conversation and be in space with you, and selfishly myself as well. It's great to have you here.
Oh, listen, it's great for me to be here. And enthused is such a proper word for this because the root word is enthel, which means God filled.
Mm,
So enthused means to have this, to be enthusiastic. It is to give this very sweet energy to the space. So I love it.
Thank that it feels right. I was like, it's not quite excited. It's definitely something different. So that this all makes sense here, Maria. I want to make sure Outliers get a chance to get to know you. The first question I ask everyone who comes in here is for us to get to see you, what you stand for in the world, and maybe you can tell us a little bit more about you and the game you are currently playing.
Yes. Um, the game I'm currently playing is in answer to the question, what is your life up to?
Mm,
What are you doing with your life? That's how it lives for me. And it's about uh, contributing whatever I can uh, to people's lives in such a way that, number one, they uh, live the life that they were meant to live, in which they experience a sense of clarity and focus. They're focused. They're filled with ease because they're not taking too many steps all at once. And they have a sense of grace
mm,
in their lives. And of course, the gateway to grace is gratitude, so that people are doing what they came here to do, both as a business person, as a family member, as a trusted friend, an ally. And it really is so important because uh, imagine going through a life in which you don't know what you're here for. You have a kind of sinking feeling that you might never discover it. That even though your business is successful in terms of it brings in money, you have a following, whatever, yet there is something missing in terms of this is just not quite my calling. And I use the word calling in a very simple sense that when you are called to do what you're doing, uh, you are just delighted to be able to do it, even when it's difficult, even when it's hard, even when it might be painful, that still you say yes. And I'm reminded of a Dag Hammarskjöld quote, Niiamah. He was the second Secretary General of the United Nations. And loosely speaking, he was Swedish. Uh, his quote is, "For everything that has been in my life, I say thank you." everything. Everything that's happened to me in my life, I say thank you. And to all that is yet to be, I say yes. And for me, that boils down to three powerful words which help people through just so many trials and tribulations. And the three words are, I am willing. I am willing. And if you attach a fourth word to it, it completes it. The fourth word is nevertheless, meaning with all the stuff, don't take anything away. Nevertheless, yet I am willing, meaning yet I say yes. And that's what I want for people.
Like as you bring this in, Maria, firstly, there's a quality to this game that that feels really soul fulfilling. As we talk, I recognize as we talk, like I realize that like I listen with my ears, I listen with my heart, and then sometimes my soul comes online, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a feeling, Maria, as we have this conversation, that my brain, my ears is being told to take a back seat right here,
Yeah.
and instead to like open up the heart connection, open up the soul connection, and let that fly through. So if you're good with it, Maria, I have no clue where this conversation is going to go because I want to actually allow you're opening up channels and speaking to different parts of me that then normally get accessed or at least come out in this kind of environment. And so
Yeah.
I'll like to keep playing with that today. You
Sure.
good with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that's coming to me is when you talked about mission, it actually
Mm.
brought something important to me. Uh, I want to get into that question around mission, but I think that
Mm.
there's you set some context for us before we came out to this conversation, and I'm still coming from that frame, from the context of that frame, and I'd love to
Mm.
bring outliers into that context as well, so that we might be able to have a shared foundation of some of the conversation. So, would you mind
Absolutely.
bring that into our conversation now?
Yes. How would you like me to bring it in?
If you could just, if you could speak about the different stages of development or the different stages, and in particular 6, 7, and 8, and just allow those um, if you can define it a bit for us here and speak to like the internal conflicts. I kind of want to speak. There were some things that were coming from me as you were saying. I want to kind of be able to speak to that a bit and see how we will play out. Would you mind that? Would that work for you?
That'd be fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, uh, I studied to be a psychologist. Okay. I don't do psychology now. I'm a coach, and I have developed a different way of viewing people that is it kind of transcends who we are psychologically, and I could talk about that a little while if you want. But
Mm.
the most important thing for me is that around I was saying to you around actually it was about a year ago. I woke up and said to myself, I'm looking for a way to contextualize how we are as we go out through life, as we age. And I remembered Erikson's 8 psychosocial stages of development, uh, from infancy until the 8th stage. And uh, the ones that have captured my interest in terms of uh, being able to coach people who are in this stage. And by the way, each stage of development has its own conflict. And by conflict, I mean there's something that needs to be resolved in order for us to successfully move on to the next stage. stages 6, 7, and 8 are the ones we were talking about because those are the ones that are most amenable to coaching. Stage 6 is called young adulthood. It's up to the age of about 40. It's, I would say, 21 to 40, like that, called young adult. And the primary conflict there is between being in relationship versus being isolated. And it was just interesting because right before this time with you, I was talking to a young man who I was talking to him about the stage that he might be in. He's under 40. I think he's 31 years old. And he said, "You're absolutely right." Because at that stage, you want to not only have intimate, loving relationships, but you want to be part of a system of support where you're supporting others and they're supporting you. Because if not, you experience isolation. And he said, "That's exactly what my wife has been telling me. You know, you're isolating yourself too much. You better get out there and be with other people." Stage 7, the conflict is between generativity and stagnation, where generativity is being able to answer the question in a satisfactory way for yourself. Am I doing what I came here to do? Am I making the difference I came here to make? Now, did I do what I came here to do? Sometimes it might be to have a successful business if at the same time you know that that business is contributing. Because the key element, especially in 7 and 8, is contribution. I'm going to take a little water. So generativity is between 40 and 65, middle adulthood. And that's where you look at, am I developing something, whatever it is? Have I built a structure that, number one, is going to contribute to others in some way? And number two, will serve as a legacy. Maybe a legacy in my business, a legacy in my writing, whatever it may be. Because, the bottom line, Niiamah, is that the being that we are, only wants to contribute. It's the essence of Saint Francis' prayer. Make me an instrument of thy peace. And if not, there's this sense of stagnation, and stagnation is saying, I'm not doing what I'm meant to be doing, and I don't know what it is. And that's where coaches really do a lot of work with people. Like your brilliant question, what is your 10 out of 10? That's asking people, what is the bottom line for you here? Yes, I know it's to make $200,000 in the next 6 months or whatever, but what is the bottom line when you look back? What will you be proud of? Stage 8 is the stage I'm in, 65 and above. Now, this is an interesting stage because the conflict is between what he calls integrity versus despair. And integrity, Niiamah, is the ability to sit back and review your life and know that you did do what you came here to do. Yes, I had ups and downs. Yes, times were easy, they were difficult. And nevertheless, I did it. Versus the sense of despair and regret that looking over my life, I didn't do really what I came here to do. I was so involved with me and me getting ahead. So when I work with people who experience that, What we do is set up ways for them to contribute now and make a difference. One woman, for example, Niiamah, that I coached, uh, retired, you know, uh, no problem with money, but she discovered that what would give her this sense of making a difference, that would fulfill her, was to read stories to young children in a day school, which she did. And speaking to her uh, was miraculous, because when you could see her before and see her after as she was making that difference, it was like a new person. And I was telling you earlier that my latest book is that I'm writing now is called Living Without Regret, in which I talk about the soul sucking energy of regret and despair, and how to get out of it. I don't just talk about it, but I give people pointers, because I believe, and I've done this with every book that I've ever written, um, I want to make sure that what I write, the reader will pick up that book and it will call out to them in some way. They'll see themselves, and they'll see a possibility for their own transformation.
I'm smiling here, Maria. I'm really glad that we brought in this context here. Like there's the smile at the end came because you used the word possibility, and that opens me up in many different ways. It really just like, oh, okay, great, that's on the table. Um, so there's outliers. Like I was really grateful when Maria brought in this context earlier, and provided this lens to look at it, this framework of looking through things. And Maria, do you mind if I share a bit of why?
Please,
Okay.
please.
Yeah. So part of it was that um, so underneath everything was that like it helped me actually reconnect with something important to me. What it like I found
Mm,
myself like for the first time in a long time
mm,
desiring to read less around business and more around like transformation and identity and shifts in that way. And I haven't like there was something there that
mm.
like the I made a decision to focus on one door inside of the mansion of who I am for a while, and and I was just like,
Sweetie.
oh, this door is here. I'd like to go back in, and
Mm,
it's just helping me. It's reigniting something there.
mm,
The next thing is I got this sense as you were talking about a sense of I'm going to call it relief. There's maybe something else around it, but like both relief and purpose. But like
mm.
let's go with relief first, right? And the sense that I
Yeah,
got
yeah.
was um, okay. It actually made a bit of sense for me because right now I feel like I'm very much in let's get community. My mission is to bring together a truly inclusive and empowered world. And I
Mm,
find myself having incredible conversations with people like yourself, outliers like you who've done amazing things. And I find myself like um, part of why I do it and why I choose to share it and everything like that is because at a certain point, like in my from like age 18 onwards, like I kept being in curated rooms with people who were already like distilled for a high level of contribution or thinking or activity or agency, whatever it
mm,
was, right? And then I moved out of it about 7 years ago, maybe eight now. I can't remember the exact time, but like in the last decade, I went to somewhere new, and I had to start building that and curating that for myself. And I think this is the first time when you brought in these different stages where I realized I'm like, oh, there was a time where I had the sense of um, relationships like in there
yes.
that like they were already established, and so I could then focus on a bit, maybe even a bit ahead of my time. I could start focusing
Hmm.
on contribution, and I
Yes.
wrote down some of these things like the mission and contribution earlier. um and then, so what's happening right now is I'm recognizing, I'm like, oh, given some of these transitions that took place, I no longer have that same foundation of those relationships.
Mm,
And so while I'm still in a contributory mode, I ask myself, Maria, if I'm being real with you, I ask myself, I'm like, I
please.
feel like there's a bigger game to be played, right?
Yes.
And why am I not playing that bigger game yet? I feel like I'm in alignment with my mission, but like it's not alive yet. And in
Hmm.
talking to you right now, what's been coming through me, it's like, oh wait, like it's still there. You're still in alignment with it. However, there's some things that are happening with this like the conflict of this stage that was resolved. It feels a little bit more unresolved. So you're just trying to resolve it again, and then that will create more space for you to take on the next thing afterwards. I don't know how
That's
true
exactly
that
how
is,
it
but it
is.
felt right.
No, 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 no. That's exactly, absolutely, exactly how it works.
Mm, mm.
Exactly. And, uh, the thing I appreciate about you is that you're aware of it. You're aware of what's needed. And given that you've already developed the capacity to have rich relationships, um, developing that aspect of yourself, it's going to be very easy, actually. For some reason, there's something just came to me to say to you,
Yeah,
which is
please.
all is well.
Mm,
All is well.
mm. I take that in. I take that in, Maria. Yeah. I am
Hmm.
it's a really it's really interesting how much this is playing with me internally, right? And as I said it earlier in this conversation, I'm going to try not to let the head lead, let the head lead. Instead, I'm going to focus more on like what the soul wants, right? And
Mhm.
there's something in that component of the mission, contribution, and integrity that I would love to stay in. If you're good with that for today, are you good with that?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Absolutely.
So there's a, uh, I appreciate the absolutely, by the way, because sure, I'm never sure what to make of sure. I'm like, do you want to or not? But absolutely, I'm like, clear, got it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Um, there was this element of transcending beyond like what I would say is almost like the material elements of it. So it's like, all right, the business, like the career. Yes, you've got the career accolades. You've accomplished the letters behind your name. You've got your business is successful there. But then you started to ask a deeper question, and selfishly, I want to remember what it's like to play in the space of the deeper questions there. And so like you coach numbers of people here, like when you're talking to people and you're bringing back in their mission and their contribution, what are the things that you look for and like that start to open up doors for them once again? And I'm thinking about this for our outliers right here because they're doing incredible things right now. They're doing incredible things right now, but that
Hmm.
element of doing it with purpose and mission versus doing it because we can or because we fell into it or it's because it's what's expected or not expected. I think there's a huge nuance there, and I really trust you, Maria, to speak to it in a bit here. Does anything come to mind or come to heart when I pose this here?
And do me the favor of posing it in a very simple sentence.
Yeah,
Why? Because when you're saying what you're saying, it opens up so many doors,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
want to be respectful of the the doorway we're looking at right now.
All right, let me check in. I'm good with multiple doors being open. Um, Let me check in and see what the door here is right here. So I'm realizing that as I check in, I'm like, I don't know if I have the specific question or the specific door. It's almost as if I was talking about the inner mansion right here. It's almost like a new wing has just been opened for me again,
Oh,
and I
okay,
and I
great.
and so I can see it. Um, I, and the best I can do is tell you. I can give you my why, like why I think this is important for me to ask right now. Are you okay with that? Would that help?
Sure, sure, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely,
So the
absolutely,
Yeah, that helps. That's clear for me. I'm like,
absolutely.
So the why underneath this, why this is clear for why this is feels important to me is that at this point in the journey of business and life right now, I find myself taking action. Right, we're doing outliers edge lives.
Mm,
We've had hundreds
mm,
of conversations. I'm developing my both. I'm
mhm,
developing my body of work, but not necessarily my
mhm,
intellectual property. You talked about your IP earlier before we came in
mhm,
here.
mhm,
You know,
mhm.
and I'm noticing for myself that like there are good things coming from this. Like I'm glad that it's the two of us here, but like a part of me is also sad that like you didn't get a chance to meet some of the other awesome people who are coming in, right? And so I'm
Mm.
recognizing that like there's something good coming out of this.
Yes.
There's elements of looking to create okay the business underneath all this, but there's another
Mhm,
element
mhm,
that really wants to get into Outlier Edge is more than a business; it's a movement, and I feel that
mhm.
honestly at this point while I'm taking action, I'm not sure if I'm in my leadership. You know, am I leading as much as I'm hosting? Am I leading as much as I am presenting? And there's something in this element of the mission and contribution that I feel like would bring some clarity or some it would let my soul talk again around what happens
Mm.
next rather than just more of what we're doing. It's like you're close, you're aligned, but you're still kind of hitting it at a tangent. And so that's, I think, where the spirit of this is coming for me. I don't,
I
if I
hear
knew
you.
the answer, I would be able to ask it very directly. But I'm
No,
like,
no,
I'm
no.
just
It's
glancing
perfect.
it over and over again.
I hear it. It's one of the things I love about you and your brain. You're very supple.
Mm,
Um, okay. There is another aspect of who we are, and it exists on an entirely different plane than what we think or feel. Um, and let me tell you how I came to this one. It's known as ontology. Ontology. Ontology is a particular viewing point in which uh, the questions you ask don't have a psychological answer. As a psychologist, um, when I help people with their dilemmas and crises and all the things that was happening to them, they they would do fine. I mean, they would be, how they would say, healed. Uh, and then when they were about to leave therapy with me, they'd say, "But Dr. Maria, you've helped me with all this stuff. What? How am I going to live the rest of my life? What's ahead? We've dealt with my past. I've had enough of that. You know that that has been handled, and there are many different ways to do that. But if we had 3 hours, I could tell you all the ways to do that, such that things become uh, just as they are, and all is well." So I became interested in a different way of looking at life, and about 1981, May 39th, uh, no, 29th, 30th, and 31st, I attended something called the EST training. Now, the EST training back in the day was started by a fellow by the name of Werner Erhard. He has since sold that to the people who are working with him, and they call it Landmark, which is valuable, but it's not the way he would teach. And he talked about ontology. So I became really interested because I studied with him, literally sat at his feet sometimes, seriously, and like when we were in rooms together with other students. And I would say to myself, not what is he saying, but what is he viewing such that these words are coming out of his mouth? Because these words were entirely different. And it was the ontological versus psychological presence. So I knew ontology because I'd studied at UCLA, where I got my PhD. I took a number of philosophy courses, and we looked at Heidegger, who talked about ontology, but he was so difficult to read. I mean, the translations of his book, it was like, so I had to put that aside. And nevertheless, because I had worked with Werner, I began to see certain possibilities for me to be able to use his viewing point to develop some things that were extraordinary. Extraordinary, the definition, that which is outside of ordinary, extraordinary. So I developed what I called ontological tools, but I didn't have a real sense of what ontology was yet until I talked to a minister. I've led seminars. It began with one called You and Money, and then Mastering Life's Energies. By that time, I'd worked with maybe about 300 ministers. And I said to one of the ministers, a friend, could you explain ontology to me, please? He said, it's easy. Easy. And he drew something on the board. He made quadrants. In the first quadrant, he put psychology, which is the study of the nature of our thoughts and feelings and judgments and bodily sensations. Ontology is the study of the nature of being. Then there's theology, which is the study of the various forms of knowing God. And then there's cosmology, Maria, which is the study of the universe and creation. So he said each domain has its own ways of operating, and they are different from one another. And I saw that I didn't want to teach theology or cosmology. I'm not a minister. I was finished with psychology because it helped people heal. But once they are healed, it didn't give them a way to go further. But ontology, the study of the nature of being, all of a sudden I had this incredible viewing point. And I decided, I started to develop some ontological tools and processes. And it had nothing to do with people's feelings or thoughts. It has to do with the nature of being. And that's why I say the nature of being is the desire to contribute and make a difference, to rise above that which is psychological. And so out of this awakening, one of the materials that I developed was something called Your Life's Intentions Inventory. And it's a way of looking at your life, not from necessarily what you want, although what you want is important, but what is really important to you. This is your one of the tickets into that mansion. And incidentally, I have to tell you something, Niiamah. You are the mansion, and the doorways open you to who you are. There's no this room or that room. There's only the room. That's as you. So the life's intentions, the definition of an intention is a direction, aim, or purpose. And a life intention is a direction, aim, or purpose that gives your life meaning. And so if you were to have me send you a copy of the Life's Intentions Inventory, and you begin to take it, actually, you'll discover what you're here for.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, no, there's a number of different things here. This is one. I'm very curious about that inventory. So just know, and one, there's that. Two, we're coming on up at the top of the hour, so we're going to start wrapping up the conversation for today. I don't it just it snuck up on us. But three, do you mind if I respond and let you know what was playing through for me as you were speaking?
Please.
What really came through was what I'll call ownership, right? Like when you talked about the four different quadrants, I know that like theology and cosmology, they're not my spaces, you know. Psychology, I haven't gone through it like professionally and things like that, but like thoughts, feelings, okay, I'm happy to play in that space. But there's like when you talk about ontology with being.
Yeah.
And I think that there was something in like the definition of like this is its own space, and I could see the other three very like strongly. I'm like, yep, get it, get it, get it. I'm like, this thing is like has its own space, like with these
Yes.
things over here, like. And so I think that there's a level that's coming through, and of being able to own what it is that it is that I do. Because I think that I'm like, it's not psychology. I'm not there. Like we can talk mindsets, but I'm not talking mindset right now.
No.
I'm actually saying like, who are you being? Like I'll come in. I'll talk about like this is not about leadership. It's about being a leader, which are two
Yes.
different things. To like
Yes.
I don't know. Okay, all right, Maria. Like so like
That's it.
yeah.
Mm.
So this to me feels I like it's given me a path to like continue to go down like kind of like in the external way I can go down that path, but internally what's taking place is an ownership of like, oh, you play a being game. Like what if you just continue to allow yourself to own that the game you choose to play is who people be, right? And how they show up as a leader, and allow that like allow that realm to be your realm, the same way that like a minister can have theology, and that's their realm, and the psychologist can have their realm. Like I can have mine, and I think that there's a portion of me that has tried to come off as palatable or like understandable or like what does the market want, or like going back in this idea of like isolation versus being with people. I'm like, what is it that you want? Like I know what I want to do, but like how do we get to do it together? And I think that as a result of this conversation, I'm recognizing that like, oh, there's a space. It has a name, you know, it's a real thing. And I can just
And
speak to it.
remember one thing. Please remember, one of the qualities of being is the desire to contribute and make a difference. So it's not just being, it's being in action. And how you choose to be in action defines your life purpose.
Oh, this is so good. I'm smiling because as you say that, I'm like, oh, this is why it's so annoying to be with me, because I could like I'm like, great, now that we're here, what do you want to do with this? You know what, like
Yes.
how, like we're not just here to like.
Hmm.
I like to create safe spaces, but the only reason to create a safe space is to be brave, you know. And then
Yeah.
afterwards, it's like, then how do you take that bravery and continue to live it outside of the space that wasn't safe, you know? And so there's a number of things that have just fallen into place, Maria. I'm very very grateful for you here. Outliers. I would love to know, hey, just share if you could, like, some of your takeaways from this year. And I think that there's something that I would say one of my insights from this conversation, Maria, is that, like, whether or not you know it, like like who you are makes sense. What you stand for makes sense. And there's just something that occurred in this conversation where I'm like, oh, it has its own, like, its own domain out here. Like what I believe it, like, not like people aren't talking about it, but it's here, you know.
Hmm.
And so outliers, I would like to leave you with that, Maria. If there was an outside that you would like to leave outliers with, what might it be?
Um, you already exist in the ontological space. It's important to recognize it and learn what to do with it, because this is your domain. It's what you were born for.
Thank you, Maria. Maria, I know you're out in the world in a number of different ways. For any outlier who wants to go deeper down the journey with you, what are some of the best ways that they can do that?
Oh, yes. Maria at marianemeth.com. If you want to have a conversation with me, happy to do it. I coach, and you might get a sense of how I coach people. If this is falling within what you like, please give me a call and we can talk. Um, the other thing is, I have a LinkedIn, uh, I have a Facebook page, but most of all, um, oh, listen to my podcast, The Energy of Money.
Mm,
It's an ontological podcast, is really what it is.
mm,
And be well,
mm.
be well. Thank you so much. This has been incredible.
Thank you,
Niiamah.
Maria.
Niiamah.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. Outliers. We're gonna end it here. You know what, Maria? I'm so sorry. If you have a minute, I almost stepped away from answering the one last question that I ask everyone here, and that is, we talk about the outsides for other people. What's an insight? What's one thing that you're taking away from this conversation as a result of being here? And if there's nothing new that you're taking away, that's fine too. You don't have to make up anything.
Well,
But I do want to make
no, I'm
sure I
not
have that.
making up anything. I
Yeah.
have just had a conversation with another human being that is dancing with me at the level that I love to dance.
Mm.
So this has been a real contribution to me, Niiamah, and I am very grateful.
Well, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for you, outliers, as well. Outliers, we're going to end the conversation here. Well, actually, we're going to pause the conversation here and transmute it into some other form going forward, right? Until the next time that we talk, go ahead and be you on purpose. Journey on.